Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana Shringara Tanman Diramarjanado Yuktasya Bhaktams Chaniyunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. The spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, our Param Pujya Guruji. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Vyasam Vasishthanaptaram Shakte Pautram Parasharatmajam Vande Sugatatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhe Vasishthaya Namo Namaha Avikaraya Shuddhaya Nityaya Paramatmane Sadaika Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave Yasya Smarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchyate Namastasmai Vishnave Prabhavishnave Shantakaram Bhujagasayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Hridyana Gamyam Pande Vishnum Bhava Bhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Rama Ramaya Shanta Ramaya Sadguru Ramaya Shanta Ramaya Daya Guru Ramaya Shanta Ramaya Daya Jaya Guru Ramaya Shanta Ramaya Rama Ram. Bolo Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Bolo Radharani Arunamai ki jai. Charan Sparsh to you, Param Pujya Guruji. Charan Sparsh to all Devis and Mahatmas. Jai Shri Krishna Guruji.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes, Guruji. We are on Book 12, Discourse 2, The Evils of Kali Yuga. Sri Shuka began again. Thenceforward, day after day, by force of the all-powerful time, O king, righteousness, veracity, purity of mind and body, forgiveness, compassion, length of life, bodily strength, and keenness of memory will decline. Verse number 2. In the Kali age, wealth alone will be the criterion of pedigree, morality, and merit. Again, might will be the only factor determining righteousness and fairness. Verse number 3. Personal liking will be the deciding factor in making the choice of a partner in life. and trickery alone will be the motive force in business dealings. Capability of affording sexual delight will be the only criterion of masculine or feminine excellence, and the sacred thread will be the only mark of Brahmanhood.
See that
Verse-
the personal liking will be the deciding factor in making the choice of a partner in life. Clearly shows that her qualities or their qualities are not. It's the modern way we can clearly see that ends in only disappointment ultimately. But if you many times you will find that you didn't like the each other, but you will find later on that you are well matched, even though you didn't like each other. Each other you are only looking at beauty and handsomeness and all these things. But and that sort of thing. Well, when you live with the person, you will find the person is the best person, both from the husband's point of view or the wife's point of view. This is commonly, and this can happen only when you are having childhood marriages. Means when you are marrying, the moment you become adult at the age of 10 or 11, and the girl 10 or 11, when they become adult, then they can get married that way. That time, what happens is they are not in a position to decide and say that I don't want this or some that sort of thing. They are willing to get married and happily also, and they live happily. That's the point. And as adults, you think that you are in a position to know your person, and you are only waiting for attraction. Attraction is a disaster actually. Attraction is what the what the father and mother parents have decided is the best for the girl or boy. What the parents have decided. That can happen only when we are young. See how we have completely changed the best thing that they have given to us. Time to get married and how to education, what sort of education for the girl and what sort of education for the boy. All these things we rejected, but our own language is the best way to communicate and best way to also have the education. Over to you, Janaki.
Yes, Guruji. Verse number 4. External marks will be the only means of knowing the ashrama or stage in life of an individual, and the only guide in determining the mode of greeting which people should adopt when meeting one another. Justice will have every chance of being vitiated because of one's inability to gratify those administering it, and voluble speech will be the only criterion of scholarship.
Yeah, see, external marks mean those marks which are there on your face, the tilak and the Sandhya Vandana marks. You can clearly make out what tilak you are having and what Sandhya Vandana marks you are having. People will immediately know that you are from this particular caste, this particular community, this particular knowledge you will be having. So that will be the only means of knowing the ashrama or stage in life of an individual, and the only guide in determining the mode of greeting which people should adopt when meeting one another. That sort of thing. It should be. Justice will have every chance of being vitiated because of one's inability to gratify those administering one it, and voluble speech will be the only criteria of scholarship. See, look at that. He has given it very clearly. voluble speech. Just because somebody speaks fluently English or fluently any other language and other thing like that, bombastic or otherwise. So that will be the deciding factor unless they reject that. That is the thing. Now the factor is this sort of thing. Dress also. It shows his wealth, all that sort of thing. Taste, so to call. You know, the taste is clearly shows it's a bad taste to show off or your dresses. Over to you, Jantiji.
Yes, Guruji. Verse 5, want of riches will be the sole test of impiety, and hypocrisy will be the only touchstone of goodness. Mutual consent will be the sole determining factor in marriage, and toilet alone will be regarded as a sign of bath.
My God, he has mentioned it so well here. Will be the sole determining mutual consent in marriage and total alone and toilet. Toilet alone, what is that? Toilet alone will be the regarded
Touchstone
as a sign of bath.
bath. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. So completely this our culture got ruined with these things. The Brahmins dressed completely changed and they started wearing pants and other things. They had a different dress, especially Tamil Brahmins and many of these Brahmins. They clearly showed their uh, caste and other thing with their dress. See? So, and the good way of living. Their way of living is good. Simple food, high thinking, always in a Brahminical way. Live a life. Brahminical day to day activities are only Brahminical way. You see, not going for wealth as such. Wealth, if it comes, fine. If it doesn't come, it's fine. That sort of thing. That sort of thing. Not. Someone was telling me some 100 years ago. I think this is about 80 or 100 years earlier, maybe 80 years earlier. So he was telling that when they went to their relative's house, who was very divine, and he had received the dakshina of 1,000 rupees or so, big money at that time, 1,000 rupees. And when these couple went the couple went there, he gave that entire thing to these people. Imagine, they had their food there, and then he gave as a gift to these newly wedded. And this person and that habit, they didn't pick it up. That habit, they didn't. Instead of that, they started king and or that sort of thing. All party. They became party people. And last, towards the end of their life, especially the husband, he joined our satsang and he appreciated what we are doing and other things like that. This is the thing. This is the thing. He came back to the Pujari days, the way to. So this is the thing. Over to you, Janki.
Okay. Verse number 6, a distant tank or pond will be the only holy resort for bath, etc. And wearing long hair will be regarded as the only sign of beauty. Filling one's belly will be the only end of human pursuit, and audacity of speech will be the only criterion of veracity.
Yeah, my God. Very nicely. Hmm? Yeah, very well put. Yeah, over to you.
Yes, Guruji. Verse 7, Skill will consist in supporting one's family. Virtuous deeds will be performed only with the object of gaining fame. And when in this way the terrestrial globe will be overrun by wicked people, the person who would prove to be most powerful amongst the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras will become the ruler. Robbed of their wealth and women by greedy and merciless Kshatriyas, behaving like robbers, people will resort to mountains and forests and subsist on leaves, roots, meat, honey, fruits, flowers, and seeds. Verse, verse 10. Already oppressed, already oppressed by famine and heavy taxation, people will perish through drought, excessive cold, storms, scorching sunshine, heavy rain, snowfall, and mutual conflict. 11. In the age of Kali, men will be tormented by hunger and thirst, ailments and worry, and their maximum age will be only 20 to 30 years. Verse 12. When through the evil effect of Kali, the bodies of men get reduced in size and emaciated, the righteous course, chalked out by the Vedas for men following the system of varnas or grades of society and ashramas or stages in life, gets lost. When religion is replaced by hearsay to a large extent, and rulers mostly turn out to be thieves, when men take to various pursuits like theft, mendacity, wanton destruction of life, and so on, when members of the three higher castes are mostly converted into Shudras, and cows are reduced to the size of she goats and begin to yield as much milk, when people belonging to the four ashramas mostly become householders, and the connotation of relationship will extend only to the relatives of one's wife. Annual gets stunted in growth, and trees are mostly reduced to the size of a shami, a small tree.
My
Clouds will,
God.
yeah.
Yeah. The wife dominates generally, and she has only her company, her families, her father's, her mother, and this person, the husband will be, some of them kept, but some of them get completely lost. Yeah, okay, Janki.
Yeah. Um, uh, Clouds will mostly end in flashes of lightning rather than pour rain, and dwellings will mostly look desolate for want of hospitality to strangers. In this way, when the Kali age, whose career is so severe to the people, is well nigh past, the Lord will appear in his divine form consisting of Sat alone for the protection of virtue.
Yep.
Verse 17. Lord Vishnu, adored of the whole animate and inanimate creation, and the soul of the universe, appears in this world of matter for protecting the virtue of the righteous and wiping out the entire stock of their karma and thereby liberating them. Verse 18. The Lord will appear under the name of Kalki in the house of the high souled Vishnu Yasha, the foremost Brahmana of the village of Shambhala. Verse 19 to 20. Riding a fleet horse named Devadatta, obviously because it will be presented to him by the gods, and capable of subduing the wicked, the Lord of the universe, wielding the well known eight divine powers, anima, and so on, and possessed of endless virtues and matchless splendor, will traverse the globe on that swift horse and exterminate with his sword in tens of millions robbers wearing the insignia of royalty.
Hmm.
Verse 21. Now, when all the robbers are thus exterminated, the minds of the people of the cities and the countryside will become pure indeed, because of their enjoying the breezes wafting the most sacred fragrance of pigments on the person of Lord Vasudeva. Verse 22. With Lord Vasudeva, the embodiment of strength in their heart, their progeny will grow exceedingly strong as before. 23. When Lord Sri Hari, the protector of Dharma, appears as Kalki, Satya Yuga will prevail once more at that time, and the progeny of the people will be of a sattvika or a virtuous disposition. 24. When the moon, the sun, and Jupiter rise together in one zodiacal house, and the Pushya constellation is in the ascendant, then it will be known as Satya Yuga.
Yeah.
Go on, Guruji. Yeah.
Yes.
Verse 25. Those kings of the solar and lunar dynasties who are no more, who are present and who are yet to come, have been briefly mentioned to you. Verse 26. The period commencing from your birth and ending with the coronation of Nanda would come to 1115 years. Verse 27. When constellations comprising the Great Bear rise in the heavens, two of them become visible first. Midway between in the northwestern line appears at night one of the constellations from among Ashwini and others. Verse 28. The stars of the Great Bear remain united with that constellation for 100 human years. The said stars now appear near the constellation known by the name of Magha during your regime. Verse 29. The all effulgent personality consisting of pure sattva of Lord Vishnu himself appeared under the name of Sri Krishna. The moment he ascended to his divine abode in heaven, the Kali age entered the world. Kali could, when people take delight in sin. Verse number 30. So long as the aforesaid Lord of Lakshmi touched the earth, Kali could not prevail over it. 31. When the seven stars constituting the Great Bear enter the constellation of Magha, Kali Yuga embarks on its career of 1200 celestial years or 432,000 human years. Verse 32. When from the Maghas the stars of the Great Bear pass on to the constellation of Purvashada, then from the time of King Mahapadma, Nanda, onwards, Kali will gain ascendancy. Verse 33. Persons learned in ancient history maintain that the age of Kali set in on the very day, nay, the very moment Sri Krishna ascended to his abode in heaven.
Yeah. Here, when they say ancient history. It is not the history given by all the modern people and all man-made history. Man-made means fabricated history of India in the last 1,000 years or 2,000 years history. The history they are talking about is the before anybody attacked and anybody the modern people means you can understand who are all started dominating the country for centuries. You see, so those before they you know before they came, yeah, before they came, that's the history of that, and that's what it means. Yeah, over to you, Janki.
Yes, Guruji. Verse number 34. Parikshit, at the end of 1000 celestial years and of the fourth Yuga, Kali Yuga, Krita Yuga will prevail again, when the mind of men will reveal to them the true nature of the self.
Hmm.
Verse 35.
Yeah.
Even as the career of Manu's race on earth has been described, with its ups and downs, the rise and fall from age to age of the Vaishyas, Shudras, and Brahmanas too, should be similarly understood.
Yeah.
Verse 36. Of the high souled men mentioned heretofore, who are now known merely by their names and who survive in the form of their stories only, glory alone remains on earth. Verse 37. Devapi, brother of Shantanu, and Maru of Ikshwaku's line, both of whom are possessed of great powers of yoga, are still alive in the village of Kalapa. Verse 38. Instructed and commanded by Lord Vasudeva Kalki, both will appear once more on earth at the close of the Kali age and propagate virtue as before, along with the institution of varnas or grades of society and ashramas or stages of life. Verse 39. The round of the four yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali, runs its course in this order of sequence for all living beings on earth. Verse 40. These rulers of men, mentioned by me as also others, claimed this earth as their own, but they had to leave it in the end and died, O king. Verse 41. He who perpetrates violence among living beings for the sake of this body, which will be ultimately called by the name of worm, excrement, or ashes, no matter if it enjoys the title of king now, is not alive to his own interests, for such violence surely paves the way to hell. Verse 42. How may this earth, held in sovereignty entirely by my forebears, and now enjoyed by me, continue to be in the possession of my son and grandson and posterity? Indulging in such anxious thoughts, rulers wanting in wisdom, and looking upon the body which is a product of fire, water, and food as their own self. Yes, Guruji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, how may this, indulging in such anxious thoughts, rulers wanting in wisdom and looking upon the body, which is a product of fire, water, and food, as their own self, and the earth as their possession, have eventually quitted both and vanished into nothing.
Yeah. vanished into nothing. Yeah.
Verse 44. All those rulers, O king, who by force of their might enjoyed the sovereignty of the globe, have been converted into mere themes of stories narrated in discourses. Thus
Mm.
ends the second discourse in Book 12 of the Great and Glorious Bhagavata Purana, otherwise known as the Paramahamsa Samhita.
Yeah. Well said. I think we can continue. No?
Yes, Guruji. Discourse number 3,
Yeah.
Vanity of Kings. Righteous conduct for every yuga, the means to escape the evils of Kali Yuga, loud chanting of the divine name. Sri Shuka began again. Seeing the king so impatient to conquer her, this earth laughs at them and says, how surprising it is that these kings, mere playthings in the hands of death, wish to conquer me thoroughly.
Yeah.
Verse number 2. Fruitless is this ambition of the kings, by which these rulers of men have been led to repose utter faith in the human body, which is evanescent like a bubble of water, even though they are aware of this fact. Verse number 3. They say to themselves, having at the outset conquered the six indriyas, five senses of perception and the mind, we shall then reduce to submission the counselors and ministers of hostile kings, as well as their relations and friends, the citizens and drivers of elephants, in fact, the entire army of the enemy. And having removed all thorns in the forms of thieves and robbers, we shall thus by degrees bring under subjection the whole earth with the oceans as its girdle. With their hearts held fast by such aspiration, they fail to see death standing at hand.
Yeah.
Verse number 5. Having conquered by their might one Dvipa surrounded by the ocean, they embark on a sea voyage in order to conquer other continents. What a poor reward it is for their conquest of the mind and senses, since all this is transient. Liberation is the true recompose for subduing the self.
This is this is a lesson advice for our present people, right?
Yes, Guruji.
What a poor reward it is for their conquest of the mind and senses. Since all this is transient, everything is transient, short-lived. The liberation is since all, yes, liberation is the true recompense for subduing the self. Yeah, over to you, Janki.
Verse number 6. These stupid fellows, Mother Earth goes on, O jewel among the Kurus, hope to conquer through war me, whom even the Manus and their sons had only to leave in the end and departed as they came.
Yeah,
Verse 7. For my sake indeed springs up a conflict between father and sons, as well as between brothers of evil intent, whose mind is held fast by the notion of minus with respect to their kingdom. Verse 8. Contending with one another in the words, The entire globe is mine and not yours, O fool. Rulers of men strike one another and die on my account. Verse 9. Prithu, Pururava, Gadhi, Nahusha, Bharata, the thousand armed Arjuna, Mandhata, Sagara, Rama, Khatwanga, Dundumara, Raghu, Trinabindu, and Yayati, Sharyati, Shantanu, Gaya, Bhagirata, Kuvalayashva, Kakutstha, Nala, king of the Nishadas, Nriga, Hiranyakashipu, the demon Vritra, Ravana, who caused people to cry in terror, Namuchi, Shambara, the demon Naraka, son of earth, Hiranyaksha and Taraka, and many other demons and kings who were suzerain rulers of the world, who understood everything and were all brave and conquerors of all and were invincible themselves, claimed me as their own and led an exalted life. But mortal as they were by nature, they were actually converted into mere themes of a story by the cruel hands of death, their object remaining unaccomplished. So concluded Mother Earth, O Parikshit.
Yeah.
Verse 14. These stories of glorious men who, having spread their fame in the worlds, passed away have been narrated to you with intent to impart to you the knowledge of the unsubstantial nature of worldly enjoyments and teach you how to develop a distaste for them, O King, O Lord. They are, however, a mere display of words and have no bearing on the highest truth.
Yeah.
Verse 15. The exposition, on the other hand, of the virtues of Lord Vishnu of excellent renown, which is constantly extolled by the righteous, puts an end to all evil. One eager to attain pure devotion to Sri Hari should repeatedly hear it every day.
Yeah. This is the shloka which is important. The exposition of the, on the other hand, of the virtues of Lord Vishnu of excellent renown, which are constantly extolled by the righteous, puts an end to all evil. The one eager to attain pure devotion to Sri Krishna should repeatedly hear it every day. Yeah. Which means these are the people who will live or who will be there, and all the wicked people will be finished. When we say these people and their lineage, whoever is there, their lineage or their whoever is totally with the Lord and bhakta, ananya bhakti. So they will remain, and the rest of the people will remain in the sense they will not have problems. But when the time comes, everyone has to go. But this is the thing. But the other people will be destroyed quickly, and they will not be. They will not be in any. I mean, they will be born again. So their life is wasted. That's what it is. So, again and again come and punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jatare shenam. So for that reason, the education should be geared towards this sort of thing, which they had. And these people came and made a mess of they destroyed our Gurukul. What we have to do is have a Gurukul in every village. Every village have Gurukul. And don't encourage people to go everywhere for looking up job and another. Live simple, live in the village, live in the village, and trust can be made to run all these villages in a district, in each district. It's possible. This is how we have to think in terms. Living simple, living simple. Ambition, another thing is only one ambition. That is to be with the Lord and Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Shayanam, Jatare Shayanam. That thing should not take place. That's the task, that's the goal. Over to you. That is it.
Yes, Guruji. Verse number 16. The king Parikshit submitted. Pray, tell me in detail, O divine sage, the way in which men will be able to shake off the accumulated evils of the Kali age in the Kali age itself. Verse 17. Also, tell me something about the four yugas or the aeons, the courses of conduct prescribed for each yuga, the duration of life of the cosmos as well as of the period of its final dissolution, and the course of Kala, the time spirit, a potency of Lord Vishnu, the supreme spirit, the director even of the rulers of the universe, Brahma, Shiva, and so on. Verse 18. Sri Shuka replied, in the Satya Yuga, O protector of men, Dharma or virtue runs its course on all its 4 feet and is held fast by the people of the age. Truth, compassion, asceticism, and affording protection to all are the 4 feet of virtue in its integral form. People of that age are mostly contented, compassionate, friendly to all living beings, tranquil and forbearing. They practice self control, take delight in the self, look upon all with an equal eye, and take pains for self realization. In the Treta age, verse number 20, in the Treta age, a quarter of all the 4 feet of dharma or virtue gets gradually encroached upon by falsehood, violence, discontent, and discord, the 4 feet of adharma or unrighteousness. Verse 21. In that age of Treta, people remain devoted to the performance of Vedic rites and austerities. They're not given to much violence nor lewd. They pursue the three objects of human endeavor, that is, religious merit, worldly possessions, and sense enjoyment. People are advanced in Vedic rites, and among the 4 grades of society, the Brahmanas form a majority, O protector of men. Verse 22. Assailed by the 4 feet of adharma, violence, discontent, falsehood, and hatred, those of dharma, compassion, austerity, truthfulness, and a charitable disposition, diminish by 1/2 each in the Dwapara age. 23. The people of that age are found fond of glory and given to the performance of great sacrifices, take delight in learning the Vedas, are affluent and happy, and maintain big families. Among the 4 grades of society, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are predominant. 24. In the Kali age, however, a quarter alone of the 4 feet of Dharma remains. Nay, due to the feet of Adharma gaining ground, that too steadily declines and ultimately disappears altogether. Verse 25. People in that age turn out to be greedy, immoral, and merciless, enter into hostility without cause, and are unlucky and extremely covetous. The Shudras, fishermen, and the like take the lead.
The idea of storing the wealth. Banks were not there, no? 300 years ago, 200 years ago, banks were not there. And people simply didn't store any wealth. Their wealth was their food items for, for this season. They lived from day to day. Just imagine not having any money because money was not the currency. See? There is nothing. There is no such thing as currency at all. See? This is 200-300 years ago. This was the situation. And then greed cannot come. Greed only in the sense of you are storing this one. And you will be also giving it to anybody who comes and asks. And Atiti Devo Bhava. Beggars, you give them. Beggars are few. And you give them. So this was the situation. The banks and interest, all these things are looked down upon. And means they were not there in the first place. The banks were not there. Storing places for money was not there. This is the thing. Zamindar has all the wealth, whatever wealth you are supposed to have. Gold was there, of course. You see, gold, silver, all this became wealth. Property became wealth. But generally, as such, nobody encroached upon other people's property. Nor there is decided, particular marks and other things like that. Panchayat offices was not there. Panchayat office not there. The people themselves decided. Righteous, all people are righteous. In the name of Lord, they will be telling the truth. So that's the thing. Now look at this. Look at the civilization. Just because we are wearing pant and shirt and other things like that, we think we are civilized. We are the worst type of minds we are carrying now. And we hoard the wealth in a way which is not believable. And you can use that wealth for a good purpose. Instead, you use that wealth for all rubbish things. I don't wish to name anything, but you can say anything that is not given to the temples, anything not given to the Brahmins, and anything that is not given to the poor people, anything that is not done for the Gurukuls or establishing Gurukuls. All these things which you could have done, instead of that, you hold the wealth and do mega foolish things. You don't realize that it is a laugh that knowledgeable people will laugh at your wealth. See? It's very rare that a person can laugh, because once they understand all these things, they just keep quiet. They don't laugh or anything like that, because you are having the wealth and you suffer for that, not enjoy. You think that it is enjoying. No, it is suffering, because no one loves you. They all love your wealth. Your own spouse do not love you. Children, no, nothing, no one. And then you will find you get the knowledge. You get the knowledge. You understand that all this is waste. What we did is waste. We earned for the sake of our children, for the sake of our. But we didn't earn anything for poor people. You could have had so many poor ashrams could have been there. Feed the poor people. This is something which could have done. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to. It's very rare. Very rare. Very rare. Everything can you give free? No. Nobody wants to give free. No? So this is the thing. Giving free all the and giving to the temples, not for gold and all that sort of thing. Temples should give food for the prasad. Every day they should give food for the poor people. Whoever comes there, they have to arrange in a way where they cook and give to these people. Over to you, Janki.
Yes, Guruji. Verse number 26. The qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas are seen manifested in men. Impelled by force of time, they wax or wane in the mind. 27. When the mind, intellect, and senses abound in sattva, and when people are interested in practicing asceticism and acquiring wisdom, then one should understand that Satya Yuga prevails. Verse 28. When people are fond of religious merit, earthly possessions, and worldly enjoyment, then know that there is Treta Yuga when Rajas is active, O intelligent one. Verse 29. When, however, greed, discontent, pride, hypocrisy, and jealousy prevail, and man is fond of actions prompted by desire, know that it is Dwapara, when both Rajas and Tamas predominate. Verse 30 to 31. When duplicity, mendacity, drowsiness, excessive sleep, violence, dejection, grief, infatuation, fear, and wretchedness prevail, that is recognized as the age of Kali, characterized by the predominance of tamas, as a result of which people become dull witted, that is, unable to judge things in their proper perspective, and are unlucky but voracious, voluptuous, and destitute. And women too turn out to be profligate and unchaste. Verse 32. Countries are infested with robbers. The Vedas stand condemned by heretics. Rulers exploit the people, and the Brahmanas remain devoted to the gratification of sexual desires and intent on filling their belly. Verse 33. Religious students will give up the course of conduct prescribed for them and fail to observe purity. The householders will take to begging, hermits will take up their residence in villages, and recluses will be seized with an ardent longing for wealth. Verse 34. Women will be short statured, but voracious, prolific, and destitute of modesty. They will always speak harsh words and will be given to thieving and wiles and very daring. Verse 35. Low minded traders will carry on business transactions and practice fraud. Even when they are not in distress, people will favor pursuits which are condemned. Verse 36. Servants will leave their masters when reduced to penury, though superior in every other respect. And masters too will discharge their servant when incapacitated for service. through ailment, etc., even though he may be hereditary. Even so, people will cease to maintain cows when they no longer yield milk.
Yeah.
Guruji, it's time. Koti Koti pranams to you, Param Pujya Guruji, Devis and Mahatmas. Let's go to Kritagnyata Prarthana now.
प्रार्थना करते हैं देश और धर्म के लिए, प्रार्थना करते हैं भारत की स्त्रियों के लिए और उनके विकास के लिए, प्रार्थना करते हैं हमारे अन्नदाता किसानों के लिए तथा उन सभी के लिए जिनके श्रम से हमारे पात्र में प्रसाद आता है। ये प्रसाद जो हमें 3 से 5 बार मिलता है, भूख हो न हो तो भी मिल जाता है, इससे हमारा बौद्धिक, शारीरिक और मानसिक पोषण हो। हम निरहंकारी बने, दूसरों के बारे में सोचें और हमारे में क्षमा भाव जगे। इसी के साथ प्रार्थना करते हैं भारत के तथा विश्व भर में कई ऐसे लोगों के लिए जिनको शायद 2 वक्त का प्रसाद मिले ना मिले पता नहीं होता। उनकी सारी आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति हो, उनका विकास हो और उनके विकास से देश और विश्व का विकास हो। प्रार्थना करते हैं भारत के 17 से 21 वर्ष की आयु के सभी युवक और युवतियों के लिए नीति द्वारा ये अनिवार्य किया जाए कि उनको सेना में प्रशिक्षण मिले, जिससे कि वो अच्छे नागरिक बने। प्रार्थना करते हैं भारत के सेना बल के लिए सीमाएं बंद हों, घुसपैठ न हो, आतंकवाद न हो और हमारे जवानों के प्राण व्यर्थ में न जाएं। उनका आर्थिक और पारिवारिक जीवन हर्ष, उल्लास और विकास से भरपूर रहे। प्रार्थना करते हैं हमारे पुलिस बल के लिए नीति द्वारा उनके वेतन 10 गुना बढ़ाए जाए, उनकी जैविक अवस्था में सुधार लाया जाए, उनकी क्षमताओं में बढ़ोतरी लाई जाए और वो सदैव न्याय और धर्म का संस्थापन करते रहें। प्रार्थना करते हैं हमारे परम पूज्य गुरुजी द्वारा संकल्पित सारे कार्यों के लिए। ये सारे ही संकल्प जैसे निवृत्ति, गुरुकुल, गीता वितरण इत्यादि का उद्देश्य है भारत के कई करोड़ों अच्छे गरीबों को लाभ पहुंचाना। ये सारे ही संकल्प बड़े से बड़े पैमाने पर साकार हों और इसका लाभ देश के कोने कोने तक पहुंचे। प्रार्थना करते हैं कि इस देश के शासक इस देश को उसकी खोई हुई संस्कृति की ओर ले जा सके। प्रार्थना करते हैं कि इस देश के हर जिले में कम से कम 2001 एकड़ के फैलाव वाले महाजलाशय बनाए जाए, जिससे कि वहां भरपूर जल रहे। प्रार्थना करते हैं कि इस देश के हर जिले में कम से कम 200 सौर शक्ति से संचालित ट्रामें चलाई जाए। इनके माध्यम से हर एक गांव को जिला मुख्यालय से जोड़ा जाए, जिससे कि यातायात में सुविधा हो, पर्यावरण भी स्वच्छ रहे और व्यय भी कम हो। प्रार्थना करते हैं कि ईश्वर हमारे परम पूज्य गुरुजी को 120 वर्ष का स्वास्थ्य से परिपूर्ण आयुष दें और गुरुजी सदैव हमारा मार्गदर्शन करते रहें। प्रार्थना करते हैं कि ईश्वर सभी सत्संगियों को, सभी विभूतियों को और उनके परिवारजनों को स्वास्थ्य से परिपूर्ण लंबी आयुष दें और